Hello One Piece fans, this is David, doing my second video I've ever done on One Piece. Okay, now, my first one, didn't get a lot of views, so we'll see how it goes as time progresses. I figure I'll try to do this a little bit more often and see how you guys think about it. I think I have a lot of interesting theories, so I may not have the fan base of some of these big anime subscribers, but you know what? Everyone tries this and try to do it a little bit more often. See what you guys think. So as far as what I think is going to be a very interesting thing that you're going to see happen is new bounties. Okay? Now, the bounties can go one of two ways. You can either have the fleet included or the fleet not included. So, I would say, let's include the fleet. Personally, I think the fleet makes a lot of actually sense to actually make it a larger part of it, because it was really the big thing that came out of Dressrosa. So not having the fleet as far as the bounties, just, to me, it'd feel a little empty not having that as part of the bounty system. And I think that's why Oda did not do any reactions for bounties yet. Or what they'll probably do is they'll show up right after it gets announced, because Absol's probably somewhere in a major place witnessing something, because that guy, he probably gets around. He's invisible, as they would say. Alright, so as far as the actual bounties, Luffy getting the fleet, I think his actual bounty value will be 750 million bellies. Now, as far as what he's done, he beat Don Flamingo. I mean, God forbid, that was a monster battle. He fought Fujitora. He won a Coliseum entire series. He beat Don Chinjao. He literally fixed Dressrosa and saved the kingdom. Fujitora bowed to King Riku. So the whole world knows Straw Hat Luffy saved Dressrosa. No other pirate has ever saved a kingdom without the Navy basically taking credit for it. That is huge. Luffy's the first pirate that the Navy basically could not take credit for. They took credit for Alabaster. Everyone knows Luffy did it on the underground, but not the general public. So that itself is going to lead more credence to actually Luffy getting a huge bounty. So I think the 750 million mark, provided with the fleet being added to it, is a realistic number. Now, no fleet added, 600 million bellies sounds a more realistic number. But with the fleet, I think it'll be 150 more. I think it's a great number, especially considering I think Don Flamingo is more than 500 million bellies. I think he's got to be around 650 million bellies. So he has to have a higher bounty than Don Flamingo. Even though it's never been shown, I guarantee Luffy has to have a higher bounty than Don Flamingo. And he should be well above 600 million, personally. Now, Zoro, as far as his bounty number, I want to say 320 million. I think that is a beautiful number for him. He cut Pika in half. I mean, the actual ability that he used to actually cut him of that massive scale is not fathomable. I mean, I've seen ships get cut in half, entire big galleons, but he practically cut an entire, literally, a gigantic, is so gigantic. It's almost like an entire city, literally, based on the amount of size that Pika put. I mean, Dressrosa is not a tiny island, but that's a huge amount of actual like rubble and stone. It's ridiculously huge. So, I mean, he's got to actually get a huge bounty for Pika getting cut. I mean, you could make a case he did some stuff on Punk Hazard along with Luffy. I mean, doing what he did on Punk Hazard, doing what he did on Dressrosa, I mean, should get him a bigger bounty. Those are the only two places where I think you're going to get a bigger bounty for. And I think most of it's Dressrosa. So he's going to have the second highest bounty. He's ridiculously strong, and it's full view. He fought Fujitora and got away and surprised him. So, I mean, Fujitora is not a joke. He definitely looks at Zoro as a threat. He's getting closer to Mihawk level. From where he was in the beginning, he's getting closer. He's not there yet, but I would say, give it another couple arcs, he's going to be at Mihawk level. Crazy, huh? Now, Zoro and Luffy are going to have the highest two bounties. By far. I think the third highest bounty a lot of people are predicting is going to be Usopp. Usopp had a tremendous coming out party on Dressrosa. He gained observation haki. He pissed off Don Flamingo higher than anyone else. Heck, he had a higher bounty from Don Flamingo than Luffy did. So, I mean, that itself is going to actually make the Navy notice as far as this guy is got to be something there. He defeated Sugar with an impossible shot. No one's ever, especially with the type of weapon he has, a slingshot. So, I mean, a gun, sure, but a slingshot? That's even more impressive. I'm sorry. So, yeah, Usopp is probably going to be the third highest bountied Straw Hat. I'd say his ceiling's 200 million. I would probably put him somewhere between 200 and 150 million. Robin and Frankie, people are predicting around 120 to 100 million for both of them. I agree with that. That's where they basically should do. I mean, Frankie, he wreaked havoc on Dressrosa, defeated Senior Pink, who is just a regular executive, not a major player. Robin fought Gladius. I would probably say the strongest of the non-major executives. That's my opinion of Gladius. I think he's a pretty tough SOB. Tough guy. I could see him actually beat, to be honest, that one of the other, like, executive, like, super executives. I could see him do it. Not Pika. The flag one. The flag one would be Diamante. I think he could have been beaten by Gladius. That's something that I could see happening. Because Gladius is, I think, smarter than him. So, that's basically who I would think is one of the stronger guys. And Robin had a little bit in his battle, but didn't actually beat him. She basically used her weapons to, like, her capabilities to actually weaken some of the minions. So, she's going to get something, but not a lot. Now, as far as the other four members of the actual crew on Dressrosa, they might get a little bit bump in bounties. I don't think they're going to get anything substantial. If Chopper gets anything, it's going to be another joke bounty. Sanji might get an update in his picture with the white beard, which he's going to be pissed when 5 Straw Hats have higher bounties than him. And it's going to be a joke, because at some point, it would be funny if Nami, Chopper, and Brook all got higher bounties than him. That would be hilarious. And if that happened, hilarious. I could see that. Brooke, Nami, I could see them getting another 15 million at most, on top of what they got, just because it's been 2 years. Brooke actually getting an update with the skeletal figure. So yeah, I think that needs to happen. Like the regular alive Brooke, you can't do it anymore. I mean, people know who Brooke is for Soul King. They know he's a member of the Straw Hats. You have to update the picture for him. You can't use the alive guy, the former person that he was, because it makes no sense. Now, as far as other bounties, they absolutely should show Law's bounty. They should show the 7 Fleet Captain's bounties. It'd be nice if they did Sabo's. But those, as I said, those 5 Straw Hats, Usopp, Zoro, Luffy, Robin, Frankie, they're going to get bigger. The rest of them might get a little bit of an increase, but not as much. They didn't really do much on Dressrosa. Sanji did a little bit more on Punk Hazard, but this is not going to be a Punk Hazard bounty increase. This is a Dressrosa bounty increase because Don Flamingo got taken out. Because Fujitora was there, who's an admiral, and he could not capture them. It has to be a Dressrosa bounty. Fishman Island, there's no Marines there. So you can't do bounties for that entire area. You can't do bounties for... You really can't do much for Shibodi. Didn't really do much there. Punk Hazard, to a small degree, yeah, defeating Caesar... basically, I don't see Smoker basically doing anything substantial to show the Straw Hats did really anything major on Dressrosa. So they did a little, but nothing bounty worthy. So Dressrosa is huge, especially the unveiling of Luffy saving the entire country to the actual civilian population. That never happens. That is going to be a huge reason why he's going to get a huge bounty increase, and it could also be a reason why Luffy's going to get a lot of territories, which I mentioned in my last video, and a huge reason why much further down the road people are going to look and say, why the heck are we fighting again when everything comes out that the world government's inherently evil, and they're going to look and say, oh, this guy saved an entire country. Why are we trying to defeat him? And when it comes out, he's never done anything wrong. He's never even attacked a civilian ship. Never has. They're going to look and say, he does not deserve to actually be treated like a normal pirate. Luffy's not a normal pirate. He's an adventurer. He's not a bloodthirsty pirate, and that's the skewed thought of most of the pirates in the world. They think of them as bloodthirsty savages. Luffy's not one of those. He's a very fun-loving adventurer. He's much closer to the guy from the north that people called Liar Nolan. Much closer to that. And Nolan was not a pirate. He was an adventurer. Luffy is an adventurer. He only says a pirate because of his influence from Shanks. Luffy's not really one of those normal pirates. And Shanks is not one of them either. I've never seen Shanks do anything wrong. Kid definitely has. But Luffy, no. He might beat someone up, but I think the only person he's ever beat up, ever, that was a civilian was a celestial dragon, and that guy had it coming to him. He tried to kill a guy in cold blood in front of him, who was just trying to free someone from slavery. And everyone knows slavery is inherently wrong, and the celestial dragons, they are hated, and most people would love to. Like, you saw what they want to do to Don Flamingo's family, like personal family, when it got out that he was a celestial dragon. They wanted to kill him. So yeah, I could definitely see like them being perfectly fine with Luffy punching a celestial dragon, because they all want to do it. They just aren't brave enough to deal with an admiral or a buster call, for all that matters, for what could happen with that, because those guys are whiny little babies. Most of them. There might be a couple strong ones, but you don't see that. So yeah, as I said, you're gonna get 5 big bounties for Nico, Robin, Frankie, Usopp, Zoro, and Luffy. The rest of them, maybe a small increase, at most 15 million for any of them. Chopper, maybe 150 actually bellies, but not really anything major that you could see happening. A couple face improvements and changes for some of them. Now, also keep in mind, Soja King's bounty is going to be in the books, so I think Usopp's literally going to have to break out the Soja King actual mask if he wants to deal with the lower bounty down the road. It would be a little funny little tidbit, because that's not been put out by the major government that Soja King and Usopp are the same. Heck, Bartolome didn't know it, and he's a big fanboy. So that's my theory and what I would say is going to happen. Thank you.